Hey there, my comic crazy fam. How are you doing? I hope you're all happy, healthy, and ready to blast off into the comic universe once again. Today, your boy is back with a banger from Marvel. A comic so wild it might just blow your mind. Imperial War, Imperial Guardians, written by the legends Dan Abnett and Jonathan Hickman, and brought to life by our art squad, Corey Smith, with Wayne Fokker on inks, and Luca Maresca. So grab your popcorn, your snacks, and maybe a cold drink too, because we're about to open this brand new Marvel comic. But before we tie the knot with this story, just one tiny request: hit that subscribe button and help our channel grow like Hulk on a bad day. Alright, let's jump right in and see what chaos Marvel has cooked up this time. Our comic kicks off with a stunning red sky, the home world of the Skrulls. Yes, you heard that right, the same Skrulls who are famous for their shape-shifting abilities. In this opening panel, we hear about an ancient religious culture with the line, "Sometimes myths come back to life after they are dead." This part is talking about Veranke, a messianic prophet in Skrull culture. On the other side of the panel, the narration says, "She wasn't even a god, just a priestess, whose gifts were soft and silent, causing changes that were only noticed after they had happened." We then learn that when Veranke became the Skrull Empress, she launched the secret invasion of Earth. Yup, the same invasion where Skrull replaced Earth's heroes with their own imposters, but unfortunately for her, that plan failed and Veranke was killed. Right after that, she lifts her hood and declares, "Know my face, know my truth." Then, the scene shifts 9 months earlier to a place called Dead Reef Salix Outworld. The next panel begins with a powerful narration. Sometimes myths retain surprising power. The scene now shifts to Gamora and Darkhawk, who are locked in an intense battle against a swarm of deadly robots known as Lux droid forms. The panel's narration tells us the Lux droid forms won emancipation from their organic creators 400 years ago during the brief but bloody Apparatus Rebellion. Cut to the next panel, it shows that these droids couldn't care less about the ancient relics or the cultures that created them. They're just here to destroy everything. Gamora grits her teeth and says, "There is no getting past them." To which Darkhawk smirks and replies, "Aren't you supposed to be the deadly one, Gamora?" Within a seconds, the two find themselves completely surrounded by the Lux droid forms. Things are looking bad. Until boom! Out of nowhere, Captain Marvel blasts into the scene and says with her trademark sass, "Looks like you people need a bigger gun here. Just saying." In one powerful surge, Captain Marvel wipes out all the droids with her cosmic energy, leaving only sparks and smoke behind. Gamora and Darkhawk are left stunned. Gamora asks, "Captain Marvel, what are you doing here?" Carol smirks and replies, "Wondering why thank you is so hard to say." The fight is over, broken machines lie scattered everywhere, and the air still carries the smell of burnt metal and gunpowder. Gamora, still catching her breath, mutters, "Danvers?" Captain Marvel instantly fires back with a grin. "Could ask you the same? That Flighthawk guy with you?" Darkhawk quickly jumps in it to correct her. "It's Darkhawk. You know it's Darkhawk." Carol smirks and asks, "So what's this? A Guardians of the Galaxy mission?" Gamora replies, "Call me. The Guardians are disbanded now. Christopher and I are here investigating a potential threat." The narration then gives us a quick flashback showing how Gamora and Darkhawk met a few weeks ago, and now how the two decide to team up for this mission. Captain Marvel smiles, clearly impressed, and says, well, an old school team up. Haven't seen one of those in a while. The scene then shifts to the next panel. We see a mysterious statue, standing tall and shadowed by alien light. And guess what? That statue belongs to none other than Veranke, the former Skrull leader. Carol looks at it closely and says, "Seeing as we've all come to find that, right? That's what she looked like." Gamora corrects her softly. "That's what she looked like. Sometimes." The narration echoes, "Sometimes stories change their faces." And with that haunting line, we move forward into the next part of our comic. Veranke once taught her followers shift and flow, to not be constrained by form or doctrine, or even identity. For Veranke, shapeshifting wasn't deceit, it was freedom. Each transformation was a prayer, a declaration of who they truly were. The next panel opens with a chilling scene of frozen, snow-covered landscape. A group of Skrulls, cloaked and hooded, march forward holding torches, as if performing some ancient spiritual ritual. The lead figure speaks solemnly, be that repression, doubt, or fear, or the persecution of other more savage species. He continues, saying that through their forms and choices, each Skrull can find their own truth. For them, transformation isn't a lie, it's a journey of self-discovery. They don't change shapes just to survive. They change to find freedom, to embrace truth, and to become who they choose to be. As we move to the next part, we see the ritual reaching its peak. The Skrulls stand in a dark ice cavern, forming a circle around a woman. She stands tall, almost divine, with two followers holding torches beside her like guardians of faith. And then she speaks, and in that truth, salvation. And in that salvation, freedom. This woman, the prophet Veranke herself teaches her people that shapeshifting is the ultimate weapon, the power through which they can reshape the galaxy in their own image. Finally, she raises her head, her eyes glowing through the shadows, and declares, "Know my face, know my truth." The story now moves ahead. Captain Marvel, Gamora, and Darkhawk are deep in conversation, trying to make sense of what's happening. Gamora begins, her tone serious. "Rumors at first, in the Outworlds month ago. I dismissed them to begin with. Then I observed a slow shift in the Skrull communities." She pauses and adds, "When the Skrulls shift, trouble follows." Captain Marvel immediately responds, "That one I've heard too, similar stories of Veranke. Veranke's dead, of course. I saw her die. But even the idea of her being reborn." Gamora interrupts softly, "This is a fragile time." Moving to the next part, Carol Danvers says, "Right, we're on the verge of an actual galactic union if Jason of Spartax can get the votes." Yep, you heard that. Right in the Marvel universe, they're forming a galaxy-level peace organization, basically like a United Nations for the cosmos. It's the biggest step toward peace and stability that the galaxy has seen in generations. Darkhawk, pulling double duty as an Avenger, decided to personally check if there's any disturbance brewing among the Skrulls. He turns to Carol and asks, "Have you found anything, Captain?" Carol replies with a half grin, "Enough to make me twitchy, Christopher. And by the way, it's weird seeing your face like that. Does it get sweaty in there?" She then explains that his armor isn't just a suit, it's remotely operated with advanced consciousness projection tech. Basically, he's fighting through an avatar. Talk about high-tech heroics. After a little lighthearted banter, the mood turns serious again. The facts are clear, the Skrulls are shifting, and wherever the Skrulls start changing, chaos always follows. Carol narrows her eyes and says firmly, "And I'm not going to let anything threaten the foundation of the Union." The tension rises, the stakes get higher, peace in the galaxy is hanging by a thread. But here's the real thing to think about, guys. If this Veranke cult is truly spreading among the Skrulls, then it could easily destroy the fragile peace of the entire galaxy. Carol looks surprised, not by the cult, but by how well Gamora seems to understand politics. She smirks and asks, "Since when do you care about galactic politics?" Gamora simply replies, "I was a guardian of the galaxy. I guarded the galaxy." Several times then, her tone darkens a bit. "I was raised by Thanos, made to kill, made to destroy." She looks down, remembering her past, and says, "I was taught that ruling through fear and destruction was the only way." They raises her head proudly. "I reject that legacy. A true galactic union represents peace and security. Everything my father was not, and I intend to fight for its interests." Bro, this moment hits hard. Gamora isn't just rejecting her past, she's transforming it. From the daughter of Thanos to a protector of peace. Talk about emotional evolution. Then we move to the next part, a quiet, heartfelt moment. Gamora gives us a bit of emotional closure, saying with the Guardians gave me a place on the right side of the history, despite my origins. At that moment, Carol reminds her, "Don't forget Jason of Spartax, Star-Lord's father, is the founder of the Galactic Union Initiative." Gamora nods a little distant and replies, "I have not spoken to Star-Lord in months." She doesn't say much more, but it's clear this is personal. Deep down, she doesn't want Peter Quill's dream to fail. Then Carol, being Carol, teases her with a smirk, "And I guess you're helping out because you're hoping that if the Union is founded, you'll get yourself a pardon, right?" Darkhawk chuckles, but says quietly, "No, I'm no superhero." The tone shifts, a light moment turns deep. You can feel his insecurity, a man caught between duty and doubt. Finally, Christopher explains a bit more about his Darkhawk armor, how it's not just a suit, but a living alien AI consciousness that he's slowly beginning to understand. He adds with a troubled look, "Everything the suit told me about its origins has been a lie." Boom! That's a big revelation right there. A lie buried inside alien tech, a cult rising from the dead, and peace hanging by a thread. The galaxy's in serious danger, which means Darkhawk's armor isn't just a weapon, it's a living, intelligent being that actually gives him glimpses of the galactic future. Carol, a little curious but clearly skeptical, asks, "What's it telling you now, Christopher?" Darkhawk voice grows heavy. "Beware, Veranke. The Skrulls are shifting to fit her truth." Boom! That one line sends chills, the prophecy is clear. The Skrulls aren't just changing shape, they're changing belief. Now we move to our next powerful scene, a vast, endless desert under a blazing alien sun. In the middle of it stand Captain Marvel, Gamora, and Christopher Powell, locked in a tense discussion. Gamora says, "Christopher's data added credibility to my hunches." Carol folds her arms, clearly unconvinced. "Does it though? These messages, these visions?" she asks. Christopher admits honestly, "I don't know where they come from, but not one of them has been wrong so far." Carol narrows her eyes, then steps a little closer, her tone half concerned, half curious. "But you believe them?" she asks. And again, what are these visions like exactly? The tone shifts from a scientific discussion to something much darker and supernatural. Now guys, buckle up because we're stepping inside Christopher's vision. A crimson-red sky stretches endlessly like blood dripping across the heavens. The ground below is cracked open, glowing veins of lava run through the earth like molten rivers. Burned trees stand like skeletons, and hanging from some of them are lifeless bodies swaying in the fiery wind. The entire landscape feels cursed like prophecy of destruction waiting to be fulfilled. And that's where the real nightmare begins. And then boom! The scene snaps back to reality. Christopher, still staring blankly into space, mutters dryly, "Oh, you know, regular prophetic visions." That one line hits with perfect dark humor, like he's trying to sound chill while brushing off something way too terrifying to be casual about. But we, the audience, know the truth. Those visions aren't just dreams. They're warnings. Ominous, cosmic warnings. Now moving to our next part, 8 months ago. The story shifts to Throne Worlds 2, the planet that now serves as the united capital for both the Kree and Skrull empires. Inside a massive royal chamber filled with echoing voices and banners of both empires, we see Emperor Darkhawk VIII, the proud and powerful Skrull Emperor, seated on his majestic throne. Before him stands an advisor holding a secure datapad. The two are locked in a quiet but intense discussion over a classified report. The advisor asks respectfully, "Is any of this corroborated?" The Super-Skrull steps forward, his tone calm but his eyes sharp. No proof yet, but the rumors are too many to ignore. You can see the tension in his face, like he's just heard something ancient, something dangerous, something that was supposed to stay buried. The advisor, visibly uneasy, asks, "Do you want this individual located and brought to you?" And that's when the Super-Skrull delivers a powerful, chilling line. "No. Located, yes. If she is returned, if she is who she claims to be, reverence demands I go to her." That line right there sends a shockwave. It's a direct tease at the possible return of Queen Veranke, the Skrull Messiah, the so-called goddess who once led an invasion against Earth. Her name alone is enough to shake empires. Now let's jump forward in time to the next key chapter. 7 months ago. Kree-Skrull Alliance settlement, Lidex 4. The next event in this cosmic mystery is about to unfold. And trust me, things are only going to get darker from here. And the whole tone suddenly flips from diplomacy straight into a war zone. Here we see Captain Marvel, Darkhawk, and Gamora in the middle of a brutal battle. Captain Marvel flies up and lands a solid punch on a soldier. Darkhawk fires a red energy beam straight from his chest. And in the most aggressive pose, Gamora, the daughter of Thanos, strikes down a Kree warrior with her sword. Then a Skrull soldier, terrified, shouts, "You have no right to invade our sacred precinct." Gamora, not backing down, yells back, "And you have no right to employ Zarian metamers to defend it." Their kind are outlawed in Alliance territory. Meanwhile, the local citizens have started protesting, clearly filled with anger and distrust toward Carol, Gamora, and Darkhawk. Carol then says, "We'll let the illegal mercs slide, Gamora. Where is Veranke?" Scene shifts. Now we're inside an ancient Skrull temple. Captain Marvel is questioning a group of local Skrulls. Their faces clearly show fear and denial. Carol asks, "I do not know who you mean." One of the Skrulls nervously whispers, "Destroyer." Carol replies sarcastically, "Sure." Then Gamora steps in aggressively. "Yes, why would you recognize the name of your own Messiah?" Gamora is mocking them, taunting the Skrulls for hiding the name of their own supposed Messiah or religious savior. Clearly, the Skrulls are hiding something big. The focus shifts again. Now Carol, Gamora, and Darkhawk are exploring the temple ruins. Darkhawk says, "I've scanned for concealed chambers and riot holes. If she was ever here, she's gone." Carol responds, irritated. "That's what 6 worlds?" The trail goes cold every time Gamora adds, "I think we were close here." Zarian mercs are overkill for protection duty at a small community temple. Carol is frustrated. She feels like there's a huge secret buried here, but the Skrulls refuse to talk, after all. To them, Captain Marvel represents their old enemy. The tension explodes as Captain Marvel, Gamora, and Darkhawk storm a Skrull temple, turning diplomacy into a full-blown battle zone. While they take down guards and expose illegal mercenaries, the trio searches for any trace of Veranke, the rumored reborn Skrull Messiah. Inside the temple, terrified Skrulls deny knowing her, but Gamora senses they're hiding something big. After scanning the ruins and finding no clues, they realize Veranke trail has gone cold across multiple worlds. Carol grows frustrated, suspecting a dangerous religious uprising brewing. The scene ends with her cold remark, "Religious power is just like any other form. It's all performative. Just ask my father." Gamora sarcastically replies, "Any other's." Scene shifts again. It opens with Gamora Gamora studying some data on her device, reading out names. Anzite, Cinnabar, Velis Cluster, Uzalt. Suddenly, Christopher's face twists in pain. He clutches his head as if something inside him is breaking apart. Captain Marvel immediately rushes to him. "Okay there, Christopher," but his only response is a painful groan. Then, everything changes. A blinding red light floods the entire scene, and from within it, a monstrous Skrull-like creature emerges, roaring, "Know my face, know my truth." Its eyes glow blood red, its hands crackle with energy, and Christopher armor begins reacting on its own. Moments later, when the chaos finally settles, Carol, Gamora, and Chris regroup to decide their next move. Gamora says, "I think we should go to Usik." Carol refuses, "No way. Usik is just a backwater," but Gamora calmly insists, "I trust his vision, and we don't have much else." Carol, a bit frustrated, replies, "I can't ignore the throne world. I just can't." Carol walks up to Chris, her voice soft and a little emotional. Carol comes towards to Chris and talking in a very emotional way, "Chris, I don't know you. You say yourself, this raptor suit has never bonded with you, cleanly because it wasn't built for humans. I just can't trust where it might be coming from." Chris replies to Carol, "If it helps, neither can I." Captain Marvel says, "I've got to go to Throne World. Come on, come with me." Chris mocks Carol, and Captain Marvel replies that they should each handle their own targets, and if they find something, they can call the other. Then Carol strikes a confident pose, jumps off the balcony, and says, "That's the stuff. You find Veranke, I'll bring the Avengers. It'll be a whole thing." As Carol flies off, Chris and Gamora watch her, both seeming to doubt her being an Avenger, as if they're thinking, do they really have good lives? The panel then shifts to a new location under an orange sunset sky. Our narration begins. Sometimes myths get forgotten. Sometimes they are repurposed, reconfigured, recycled. Then we go back 6 months earlier. I almost cried at this issue, always going back and back again. The next scene shows a Skrull temple where a moment of prophecy and rebirth is unfolding. Moving on to the next part, anything can become a myth. A hero can, through their deeds. A god can, through their commandments. A prophet, likewise. Truth can become a myth, so can a lie. Now shifting to the main focus, the camera moves toward a Skrull woman who removes her cloak and says, "Know my face, know my truth." It's a powerful line, as if she's reclaiming her identity. Then she declares her name. "I am Veranke." That means this is none other than Queen Veranke, the Skrull Empress everyone thought was just a legend, now truly returned. In the next panel, we see a muscular Skrull warrior, Kol-RT, who says, "I am Kol-Art," called Super-Skrull, defender of the faith. He wears spiked armor, his expression skeptical. He doesn't fully trust Veranke. Veranke replies, "It is our nature to doubt. Skrulls know that all things shift. I doubt that which was once dead. Faces are easy to make." Veranke says that some among her people are saying, "Our people must be reminded that change is due." Meanwhile, Kol-Rt warns, "This faith and unity sometimes make us rigid." The page shifts and Veranke says, "The Kree are our enemy, yet we treat them like brothers for the sake of peace and life in alliance. We accept their oppression for the sake of stability." Meaning, Veranke is saying that the Kree are our enemies, yet we tolerate their tyranny for the sake of peace and alliance. Then she says, "Stability, Kol-Rt, is not a virtue we should ever aspire to." Veranke explains that in a few months, the Galactic Union will be officially formed, and once that happens, the Skrulls will be permanently suppressed, their freedom lost. Her words signal a revolution. She wants the Skrulls to change their fate. Kol-Rt warns that if they start a rebellion, much blood will be spilled, and their people don't want another war. Veranke calmly asks, "But if the goddess wills it?" Kol-Rt replies that if it's the goddess's command, then the Skrulls will give their lives without question. Veranke walks deeper into the temple, asking to be left alone while she awaits Kol-Rt's decision. One of her servants whispers, "As the goddess will it." The page shifts again. This time, Veranke stands with 2 pink-skinned, antenna-headed men, all with their eyes closed. Suddenly, one of the antennaed men gasps, as a sharp blade presses against his throat from behind. Now comes the explosive moment. The scene reveals that Gamora is holding him by the neck, her knife at his throat. Gamora says, "Be quiet and still. I'm told she's the deadliest woman in the galaxy." Suddenly, Chris appears and explains that the attacker is a Chameleonid, an alien shape-shifting species capable of disguising itself just like the Skrulls. He reveals that this plan was intentionally designed to use the Skrulls' own tactics against them. Chris says, Yes, play on their feelings of persecution, weaponize their old faith, work slow and gently like a true messiah. Chris is calmly explaining his plan when Kol-Rt suddenly enters, saying, "Ask him yourself." Then a massive battle begins as Super-Skrull makes a dramatic entrance, his expression intense and powerful. From his hands, purple energy or stretching powers emerge. Yeah, typical Super-Skrull. Seems to be channeling Fantastic Four's Reed Richards. Super-Skrull attacks all 3 of them. With his stretchable arms, he grabs the antennaed alien and burns him to ashes, a loud scream. Ah! echoing. A fierce fight breaks out between Super-Skrull and Gamora, with Darkhawk joining in. Super-Skrull says, "No one must know of this, daughter of Thanos." Gamora replies, "The Galactic Council must know about it. A Shi'ar plot to collapse the Union using your people as pawns." The Skrull angrily retorts, "You misunderstand me. No one must know of this." He launches an energy attack. One hand turns to stone like the Thing from Fantastic Four, while his other ignites like the Human Torch, hurling flames. Super-Skrull attacking declares, "I have been tricked. The Skrulls have been deceived." Gamora, fighting back with her sword, says she was a lie. As their battle rages, Super-Skrull admits his faith. Everything he believed in was false. Gamora sticks a bomb to his suit and activates it. The sound bip, bip, bip leads to an explosion. Darkhawk swoops in and carries Gamora away to safety. Gamora and Darkhawk are shown fleeing through a devastated alien jungle-like landscape. Darkhawk says, "Go!" "We can't fight him. We really could have used a bigger gun." Falcon asks, "So our plan?" Gamora answers, "We holler." The two run like a plane taking off, shouting for help. Now aboard their ship, Gamora urgently says, "Subspace link to Danvers before the Skrulls jam everything. Even if we're dead by the time she brings her Avengers here, she'll know." Falcon says the Super-Skrull has exposed the Shi'ar conspiracy, but now he has taken control of the trigger system. The Skrulls were not a threat before. Now they are. In the next panel, a mysterious voice says, "This is bad, I admit, but Color T was right. No one should know about this." Gamora, shocked, asks, "Maximus?" Maximus the Mad, the dangerous and cunning villain, is calmly talking to Gamora and her partner. Maximus says, "I'm about to plead with you, so hear me out." In a manipulative tone, he adds, "But you must not ruin this plan. Trust me, this will make the Union win." He warns that if they tell the Council or the Avengers, the entire plan will be ruined. Gamora angrily responds, "It's not that simple. You're Maximus the Mad, and nothing you say can be trusted." Maximus says, "I'm sorry that's what you think. I thought I could convince you." A heated argument erupts between Darkhawk, Gamora, and Maximus. Then suddenly there's a blast, and from it emerges the devil himself, Ghost Rider. On his bike with chains flying, Ghost Rider arrives and says, "At your bidding, how do you want him?" Maximus immediately orders him to kill Gamora and Darkhawk. A fierce fight with Ghost Rider follow, but of course, no one has ever beaten the devil. In the last panel, Ghost Rider leaves the spaceship saying, "Seems a waste." Then Maximus and Ghost Rider head off towards their endgame. Ghost Rider has burned Gamora and Darkhawk to death. After all their effort to uncover the truth, they died in the end. Anyway, so guys, that was the Imperial War Arc's Imperial Guardians issue number 1. I'm exhausted after this breakdown. I need sleep now. I'm off. But if you enjoyed this breakdown, let me know in the comments and tell me what you think Ghost Rider and Maximus will do in the next issue. If you want to find out, smash that subscribe button. It motivates us. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.